Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
This is Kerry Murdock with Practical E-Commerce, and welcome to E-Commerce Conversations. The process of collecting and processing online payments is confusing. There are many parties involved, and the fees are oftentimes difficult to decipher. One company that hopes to clear up the payment process and to simplify payments from international customers is Adyen. Its president of North America, Peter Caparso, joins us. Well, Peter, thank you for your time today.
Kerry, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Peter, you call Adyen a next-generation payment solution. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, Kerry, I mean, if you look at the legacy payment providers that are out there today, a lot of these payment providers have had platforms that have been in existence for 10 to 15 years. There's certainly nothing wrong with them. They're very functional. They can certainly handle the traffic quite well. But we really think that there's been a lapse of real innovation and creativity to be put back into the e-commerce arena. And that's really where we see ourselves as a next-generation payment provider. We're really trying to focus in on innovation, real-time access, so that our customer base, our merchants, can look at the data coming in, make educated decisions, and then basically, based on those decisions, alter or augment their e-commerce offerings.
Give us an example of that, Peter. So look at data coming in. What do you mean by that exactly?
Sure. So a lot of times, let's say people are running out specials, or they're running out like a video game. They're running out a title. We give our customers the ability to see how the actual traffic is trending in, where the transactional flow is coming. We also offer to our customers the ability, they can either host a payment page or we can host a payment page. If we host a payment page, they can actually control every facet of that page, so every pixel, every color, schematic, what have you. So let's say someone's rolling out a trial or a new title, what have you. They can roll out a page A to a certain part of the country, page B to another part of the country, and really get the trend and the consumer analytic to see which page is trending better. What we're really trying to do, and what we feel there's not a lot of available today in the marketplace, is giving our customers a view into how the traffic is going, who's buying, where they're coming from, because we also think there's been a real movement away. You know, there's still going to be obviously a lot of brick and mortar, but there's a lot of people moving towards selling things online, and today we feel they just get their statement at the end of the month and they're left to kind of decipher it. We're trying to give them as much information that we can capture to allow them to make educated decisions so they can shape their business moving forward.
In the example you just cited there, if Adyen is hosting the payment checkout process, did I understand you correctly that there can be a checkout process by product?
Yes, we have skin technology, which basically customers could host. They could have many variations of payment pages. So they could have it by country, they could have it by product line. It's extremely flexible. So dependent on how broad or how narrow they wish to roll out their products, we give them the ability to do that. And again, this is assuming we host a payment page. Certainly if the customer, the merchant, wanted to host their own payment page, we also facilitate that as well.
So if you host the payment page, I know there are benefits, there are PCI benefits to that. It's payment card industry compliance benefits. Does that completely rid a merchant of having to worry about PCI compliance if you're hosting the checkout page?
Absolutely. I mean, PCI compliance is here to stay. It's not going away, and it's only going to get larger and larger. If a merchant decides to allow Adyen to host the payment page, we rid the merchant of that PCI compliance and that headache. It's the best of both worlds, in my opinion. They have complete control and design of the web page. They can go on and dynamically change it at any time, but they're ridding themselves of that headache. I mean, this is the business we're in. We are compliant with PCI regulations. We will continue to be compliant going forward, and we are really seeing a movement in the marketplace today for consumers to kind of get away from that, because that's not their core business. Their core business is basically selling their product or service on the web. And if we could remove that procedure for them, I think it makes it a lot more convenient for them and let them focus on their core business.
Now, does that assume the merchant has no other sales other than online sales? For example, if a merchant has phone sales, or if a merchant has walk-in traffic, they would still have other PCI requirements besides the services you're providing. Or am I missing something there?
No, you're correct, Kerry. So currently, right now, we have an online service. We do have a variation of what we call a call center. So, we can facilitate working with customers taking orders over the phone, which then the rep would enter into an online web feature. But actual walk-in business, this is an area we see ourselves moving into. We're not there yet. So, yes, there would still be some PCI from customers walking in, but anything handled on the web right now, we can certainly greatly assist and reduce this PCI compliance for them.
Peter, our listeners, as you know, are e-commerce merchants, smaller e-commerce merchants for the most part, and I suspect some of them are thinking that there are other solutions with the product that you're offering, one of which is Google Checkout that comes to mind. How does your redirect solution compare to Google Checkout?
I mean, Google Checkout is certainly well known in the marketplace, and it certainly can fit the bill for what a lot of your readers may be looking for. Here's where I think we can absolutely help augment and enhance in regards to Google Checkout. Adyen is a global payment provider, so we certainly work with everything in North America. We're well-versed in domestic payment methods. If people are starting to look outside the boundaries and possibly looking to achieve more revenue or just expand their reach, we have a vast portfolio of predominant credit and debit payment offerings that are fully integrated into our solution. So this is one big advantage. Google Checkout certainly is available, but it's very limited by its payment scope. We have a broader range of payment options, and in addition to that, as compared to Google Checkout, it's one payment option. We're integrated with other payment options such as a PayPal or a MoneyBookers in addition to credit and debit offerings. The last thing is cost. I assume that there's cost. From my familiarity with the cost of Google Checkout, we have a very simplified pricing model with Adyen. We just charge our merchants a transactional price and a fixed amount on the interchange. We're also very transparent in our cost, and we're also extremely flexible with our commitments. We only ask our customers to sign one-year agreements, and we do not require exclusivity. We truly are putting out there a business model where we want people to work with us, and if they don't want to work with us, they should have the ability to leave at any time without liquidated damages or penalties or what have you. We're kind of putting ourselves where we're putting our money where our mouth is. We think we have a very nice solution, and we want our customers to work with us. And if for some reason it doesn't work out, we wish them well. We don't want to penalize them on the way out the door.
Talk to us for a minute, Peter, about those international solutions that you just described. So if a merchant is a U.S.-based merchant and they're selling, to pick a country, into Germany, how does your solution help a German consumer purchase products through that U.S.-based merchant?
Germany is a great example because if you look, obviously we live in North America and all of us we're used to the credit card. I mean, that's just a standard vehicle of payment. Perhaps debit card is making some inroads today, but predominantly we're a credit society. Germany is almost the inverse. I think the latest poll I read is 17 or 18% of the total population of Germany use a credit card for payment. So if you truly just rolled out to Germany only offering credit cards, you're leaving over 80% of the population without access to your product or service. We have the predominant payment methods in Germany. We've integrated into some of the largest banks in Germany, which gives us access to the predominant credit and debit offerings as well as bank transfers. And that's really, I think, a value add that we could potentially offer to your listeners here today. We have the expertise. We've been doing this, Kerry, for close to 12 years, the core team. We've all come from a company called Bibbit, which did it once before and was acquired by Royal Bank of Scotland. We all decided that there was still a lot of innovation and a lot of feature functionality that was missing in the marketplace. So we have this inherent knowledge. We have the relationships with a lot of these foreign banks that allow us to basically channel in, get the lowest rate, as well as, in addition to that, offer a portfolio of the significant payment methods.
So in the example, to continue the example of the German consumer, if a German consumer pulls up a U.S. or North American-based e-commerce site, and that merchant is using the hosted Adyen solution, will the German consumer see a different checkout than would a North American consumer?
The answer is it's depending on how your merchant would like to set it up. If the merchant would like to set it up that it's just a standard payment page, so be it. However, we can also set it up where it can read from the IP address coming in. It could recognize it's a German IP address and also offer the native German payment method. So the customer or the potential customer coming from Germany would have a comfort level and see his localized payment methods and make a payment via that vehicle.
Could you tell us a little bit more about Adyen? When was it founded? Who are its principals? I believe you're just moving into the North American market. Talk a little bit about your background and your company, if you would.
The embers of Adyen really came from a company called Bibbit, which was an Amsterdam-based company formed in the late 1990s that basically had a business model where we would go and we would integrate into the predominant European banks to offer the localized payment methods at the lowest rate. We executed on that business plan successfully to the point that in 2004 the Royal Bank of Scotland completely acquired us. I was not a founder of Bibbit. However, a lot of the founders decided to exit the business, take a couple years off. I ended up staying at RBS. But towards the middle to the end part of this past decade, a lot of us got back together, and just from staying in this business and hearing from what merchants are saying, which is we really want more transparency, we want more flexibility, we want more access to the data, we decided there was still a lot of work to be done in this space. So we've all got together. Adyen was actually founded in December 2006. Our payment platform actually went live in mid-2007, and I'm very pleased to tell you, Kerry, that as of January 2010, the company has achieved profitability. So in a short period of time, the company has done quite well. And to your last question, the core management team, all are former members of Bibbit. So Peter Valadus, our CEO, was the former EVP of Global Sales. Arnaud Schucht was the CTO of Bibbit and is the CTO of Adyen. And Roulon Prims, the CCO, was the former Chief Operations Officer at Bibbit. And myself, I ran the North American operations for Bibbit as well.
Our listeners, once more, are e-commerce merchants. Anything else on your mind for them today, Peter?
Yeah, I would advise them. I mean, we've gone through a tough time in the recession, and people are really looking very carefully at their businesses and really how do they take it to the next step forward. And I do think there are ways they can do that at not a high cost. And one of the ways I see we can do that is absolutely globalization. I think by expanding your product reach and expanding your scope with very short effort, you can reach a whole new marketplace and you can achieve revenues that you may not be realizing today. And I think it's very simplistic. We try to set it up with our customers today where it's very little barrier to get in. If it doesn't work out, there's no penalty to leave, and we try to give our customers flexibility. We really pride ourselves on working with the small to medium type customers to help them grow and really make their business achieve. So we see this as kind of a sweet spot, and we think that through a lot of the efforts, and as well as the consumer analytics and the innovation, they can get a real view into how their traffic is trending, make educated decisions, and as we get on this road to recovery, reap higher revenues in the end.
Well, for purposes of our listeners, Peter's company again is Adyen, The website is Adyen.com, and I will spell that. That's A, D as in David, Y, E, N as in Nancy, Adyen.com. And Peter Caparso, the president of North America for Adyen, I want to thank you for your time today, sir.
Kerry, I sincerely appreciate it, and thank you to all your listeners as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.